of love is self-abandonment, not clinging to oneself.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win!
User-generated content is something that has really grown drastically over the past decade. In the years before that, websites grew by creating or generating the content they showed internally. Although it may seem like it's been part of the internet landscape forever, Reddit has only been around for 15 years, and they're just getting started. This new form of communication allows people to upload articles, links, videos, photos, and commentary, creating discussions that help to move the needle forward. It has grown exponentially, but not without its fair share of controversy. Welcome to Origin Originals. This is the story of Reddit. Reddit is one of the internet's most interesting and informative websites. Posts are organized by subject into user-created boards called subreddits, which cover a variety of topics from news, politics, science, movies, video games, music, books, sports, fitness, cooking, pets, and image sharing. Submissions with more upvotes appear towards the top of the subreddit, and if they receive enough upvotes, they ultimately end up on the site's front page. Reddit's story is a tale as old as tech. One founder is the awkward programming genius with an unfiltered sense of humor, and the other is a smooth, charismatic business guy who knows all the right things to say. He ultimately went on to become the face of the company. In Reddit's case, those roles were filled by Steve Huffman and Alexis Ohanian. It's funny the way that we're drawn to each other in this world. Steve and Alexis may have never met, if not for both choosing old dorms on their University of Virginia application forms. Their first encounter on day one of freshman year at Virginia would be the perfect tone setter for their relationship. Steve Huffman was a super shy, nerdy kid who had been programming since the age of 8, while Alexis was the complete opposite, a tall, good-looking, beaming guy with confidence. While Steve was shy and afraid to approach the girls, Alexis would walk right in and say, "Hey ladies, I got this plate of cookies." Although they may not have seemed like a match, an unlikely friendship grew. After only a week of being around each other, they bonded over gaming and discovered that they had the type of relationship where you could pretty much say anything to each other without being offended. This simple detail became a great strength for their relationship. Although it may not seem like a big deal, the fact that they could say anything to each other gave them a major advantage once they started their own company. Many times, great ideas can get squashed before they even ever materialize, because people feel slighted or offended, and that can derail a friendship and a business partnership. Their no-holds-barred relationship was the foundation. In early 2005, the pair traveled by train to Boston in the spring of their senior year to take in a lecture by programmer and entrepreneur Paul Graham. Graham was a trailblazer in the mid-90s, creating and selling a company to Yahoo for $45 million, and he has often been referred to as the hacker philosopher. After the lecture, Huffman and Ohanian pitched their idea to Graham, hoping to gain access into this newly formed startup incubator, Y Combinator. Their initial idea was a way to order food via text messages called My Mobile Menu. Although in retrospect, the idea was genius, it was unfortunately ahead of its time. Keep in mind, this was before there were such things as smartphones or smartphone apps. The world wasn't ready, and neither was Graham. He really liked Huffman and Ohanian, but the mobile app was going to take too long to go to market. The boys left dejected and devastated as they headed back to Virginia on the train. They were somewhere in Connecticut when Graham called back saying that he had decided to add another team to his incubator. He said that he would allow them to join if they ditched their idea and worked on something new. They jumped off the train at the next station and headed back to Boston. If they hadn't acted immediately, Reddit almost certainly would have never existed. It was Graham who nudged them to consider news aggregation websites. Sites like Slashdot and Delicious led the company into a new direction. After an early brainstorm session to pitch another startup, the idea of Reddit was created, to which Graham coined the phrase, the front page of the internet. a mantra that has stuck with Reddit to this day. Now, as part of the incubator, they were supported with funding to get Reddit off of the ground by June of 2005. In the early days of the website, they had no traction at all, and it was Huffman and Ohanian who created tons of fake accounts, and they used these to create discussions to reply to the same discussions. This fake it till you make it routine doesn't always work, but in the case of Reddit, it got the ball rolling. Chris Slow was added to the team 5 months later, and in January of 2006, merged with Aaron Schwartz's company, Infogami, making Schwartz an equal owner in Reddit. Schwartz infamously helped code the syndication service known as RSS at the age of 14. There were tons of turning points over the course of the Y Combinator year. It took a surprisingly long time for Huffman and Ohanian to arrive at the name Reddit. For the longest time, they wanted to call their site SNU, as in, what's new? The first key feature turned out to be a combination of the upvote and downvote, which is much different from liking or disliking a story. This indicated whether a user thought it was important enough that others should read it, as well as the karma points you'd receive for upvotes on the links you posted. After only a year and a half in business, Reddit sold to Condé Nast Publications for $20 million. At the time of the sale, there were only 4 employees. The new parent company, Condé, thought that they were getting a group of seasoned techies, but in reality they were a bunch of kids fresh out of college that jumped at an enticing dollar amount. As soon as the check cleared, Ohanian bought his dad front row season tickets to the Washington Redskins and made a sizable donation to his mom's favorite charity. The team moved to San Francisco. Schwartz, Huffman, and Ohanian split the money, and they all stayed on with jobs at Reddit. In early 2007, friction with Condé led to Schwartz being fired. Huffman and Ohanian knew they weren't far behind, as they left in 2009 to start a new venture. After Huffman and Ohanian left Reddit, the company had 2 driving forces that helped to continue its growth. Eric Martin, who was responsible for keeping the site going, and Yin-Shang Wang, who ran Reddit as CEO from 2012 to 2014. Ohanian later credited Wang for being an integral part of Reddit's ascension, as he grew the user base from 35 to 174 million in only 2 years. Wang also helped raise $50 million in funding and spun off as an independent company. These steps by Wang laid the groundwork for the triumphant return of the founders. After 5 years away from the company, Ohanian and Huffman returned to leadership roles at Reddit. Ohanian became the full-time executive chairman in November 2014 following Wang's resignation, while Huffman's return as the company's chief executive. The opportunity to go full circle is something that is rare in any industry, but in this case, there was no one better to know where Reddit needed to go. After Huffman rejoined Reddit as CEO, he launched Reddit's iOS and Android apps. He fixed Reddit's mobile website, and he created A/B testing infrastructure. The company launched a major redesign of its website in April 2018 and instituted several tech improvements and new content guidelines. The freedom of posting on Reddit has sometimes been as much a gift as it's been a curse, as negative stories, photos, and videos have also gained traction due to the network's massive reach. These new content guidelines were designed to help curve that trend. Reddit's largest round of funding came in 2017, when the company raised $200 million, and they were valued at $1.8 billion. In 2020, Reddit is exactly what its founders wished it would become back in 2005. It is the unofficial, official front page of the internet. While Facebook and Twitter have us stuck in silos, unfollowing those we don't agree with, Reddit's up and down votes are truly global. On any given day, the most upvoted stories are a mix of the inspiring, the edifying, and of course, cute animals. News discussions are generally thoughtful and filter bubble free. Popular subreddits have helped users out of debt on pages like Personal Finance. They've also taught them how to build anything on subreddits called Do It Yourself, and they've fostered self-awareness in society's most self-centered people on Am I the Asshole? Today, Reddit is the world's 20th most popular website, accompanied by 430 million active users and plenty of popcorn. Popcorn is a Reddit term for watching unfolding controversy. 15 years ago, two college seniors could have shunned off the advice of a mentor and stuck to their guns with an idea that might have never made it. Instead, they were smart enough to know that they didn't have all the answers, and that has led to a site where you can constantly search for answers every day. Thank you for checking out Origin Originals. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also, let us know any other amazing stories you want us to cover in the future.